I'm Jacob.
I'm Yuri.
And we're going for a drive.
(2022) Audi S3
Quattro Technik with launch control. That is a solid launch.
Horsepower and torque.
306 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque from a 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder.
Okay, what was up with that launch? Why did it chill at 5,000 RPM?
Okay, so it does have a legitimate launch control. It is very good. It kind of chills at like 5,000. I feel like it's adjusting something with the dual clutches at that point.
Yeah.
Kind of like the R8 did.
If you did that in a manual transmission car with 3 pedals, it would feel nasty to the passenger, but since the computer's taking care of it, all is good.
Yeah, and it does launch really well, so whatever the computer's doing, it's figured itself out. And this car is definitely decently quick. That dual clutch shifts really quickly. By the way, this is also basically a Golf R.
Yeah, and we haven't driven an S3 yet. We have driven a previous gen RS3, but this is all new.
Yeah, and we've driven the current new generation of the Golf R, but we only drove it with a manual, which this car does not offer, but you do get the exact same dual clutch in both cars.
And if you like this video, share it with one of your car friends. Pause the video, copy, send, paste. There's a share button. I don't know how it works.
And if this is the first, second, or third video that you're watching, consider subscribing so that you don't miss the next one.
So before we dig into looks or infotainment or something else, cliche corner.
Okay, so I am in dynamic mode. I do have traction fully off because I feel like you need it in this car, and let's see what it does. It wants to understeer, but it's got a ton of grip.
This car's quick.
Yeah, it understeers more than the RS5 that we drove, but
for a smaller car,
it just hooks up. I would say it understeers more than the Golf R in drift mode because this doesn't have any of that fun, crazy stuff. Other than the initial understeer, the rest of it is very neutral.
Yeah, because it is Audi's all-wheel drive system, Quattro.
Even though I think it's exactly the same, it's just rebranded as Quattro versus 4Motion for Golf.
Okay, so what do you want to talk about first?
Do you want to talk about the updated looks?
Yeah, okay. So starting with the front, we have different headlights. They look pretty cool. They got these little attachments at the bottom that I think really add a lot of differences to them to make it an S3.
And I don't know if it necessarily looks better than the previous generation, but it does look good.
Front end and headlights, no. Body lines and stuff, yes. But first, the grille.
Yeah, so the grille is quite large and crazy shaped.
Yeah, I mean, regular Audi stuff, especially in this dark silver color, it's almost impossible to notice the grille anyways.
Yeah, and then you do have some fake grills on the right side, real grills on the left.
And at the top, you get the 3 things like they have for every Audi now.
Well, the R's, but now they're apparently on the S's as well.
And if you pop the hood, we got 4 red lines.
That's right, to signify 4 red lines.
Okay, side view, starting with the body lines, we now have kind of like big bulges at the front and the back over the tires. I think it kind of looks like the Audi RS e-tron GT that we drove recently in the similar color.
I could see that from the side.
Baby e-tron.
Okay. I mean, in the looks side department, yeah.
Yeah, because before that it would just be kind of like the line and
right.
then it'd be smooth, and now it's just chunkier.
Yeah,
and I think that design element looks really good. And these wheels.
These wheels are awesome. They are part of the adaptive handling package, which we do have, but they just look really good. Like, just the way that they did it, it's just different enough from like a regular 5-spoke with a little twist on it.
It's like how Genesis has those kind of grooves in their 5 spokes, but this looks better than that.
I would agree with that.
And then we've got red S calipers. I was looking for the R, but no, these are just S's.
Yes, we will eventually hopefully get to the RS3.
And then what would be the Continental recommended tire for an Audi S3?
Since we are now in winter, the Viking Contact 7, and the summer tire would be the Extreme Contact Sport.
And now onto the back end, pretty cool taillights, sequential.
Yeah, they are sequential, which is cool. They look really nice. And the best part is that we do have real exhaust tips for an Audi, which is in 2022, well, 2021 right now, that is an achievement.
The double duals, that kind of remind me of the awards we gave out for the TheStraightPipes Car of the Year. Check out that video. Those are the best looking awards ever.
Yeah, good luck to Audi for the next 2022 awards.
And then I guess we should find out what it sounds like from the outside.
From the outside.
Rev limiter.
Yeah, so you can't do much, but let's listen to the inside. kind of sounds like the previous generation of Golf R GTI, where it kind of sounds like a WRX.
With the vibrating windshield.
Yeah.
Where the new Golf R doesn't have that, it's just got like pumped in.
Exactly. So
I like it. I like it a lot.
exactly. And we do have some crackles and pops, which is, I'm kind of very over crackles and pops at this point.
Yeah, because they're bad. It's like, it sounds like someone's banging on like a kid's toy drum. Like,
And it's always like, okay, well,
Oh,
you
you
get
got
one
one.
random loud one. Thanks, Audi.
yeah, thanks for proving us wrong.
Damn it, this unpredictable pops.
Okay, so looks-wise, I think it looks great as a subtle luxury car.
Exactly. And I think it does look better than the Golf R, I would say.
Okay, and then what's competition for it looks-wise as well as driving-wise?
That would be the BMW M235i Gran Coupe, the Cadillac CT4-V non-black wing, and the Mercedes-AMG A35.
Kind of like a dead heat between all of them.
Yeah, this is probably near the top of my list, but
The Cadillac was pretty good.
the Cadillac was. I would tie this with the Cadillac, and then I would put the AMG, and then I hated the looks of that BMW.
But the AMG would it count if it was the hatchback or only the sedan?
Well, technically both, but we only get the sedan version of this.
Yeah, exactly. So like the hatch I would win, but it's not direct.
Yeah.
Anyways, what do you want to talk about next?
Back to the performance. So this is the same engine as the Golf R and the GTI. It is completely differently tuned because it has a different horsepower number. So this is actually less than the new Golf R. It kind of doesn't really feel like that because we have it in the dual clutch, whereas we drove the Golf R in the manual. So I think if you had the Golf R in the dual clutch, it would actually be a lot faster than this because it's only like 10 extra horsepower, but the way that it felt like it had so much more potential.
Yeah, I guess R is kind of the more exciting and sporty model where even though this is an S3, like it'll still go quick, but it's just not supposed to be as crazy.
Yeah, because that's what the RS3 is going to do, and that's going to be an absolute monster. You're still going to have that 5-cylinder, so it's going to sound really good. This sounds like a Golf R, basically.
Yeah, how do they like the paddles through Cliche Corner? Are they good?
Paddles are okay.
Does it shift when you want to shift? Downshift now.
It'll let me downshift, but then watch this. It'll automatically upshift. Yeah.
What's the point? And we have traction all the way off, so.
Exactly. But it does rip through Cliche. It is very good. The handling is also really good because it's actually like really well balanced. We do have the adaptive suspension. It's not as like ridiculous as the RS5 where it's too stiff. If you actually put it into comfort or even sport or whatever, dynamic, it's actually really soft in every mode. So like there's no issues with this suspension.
But with the paddles, like I never found myself like too antsy in my pantsy to use them. It was kind of just like, oh, they work, doesn't make me want to. But even the M235i Gran Coupe made me want to shift. Like I enjoyed driving that more than this.
I definitely enjoy driving this more, but I kind of agree with you on the paddles. This is more of a leave it in S kind of car with this weird little shifter, which we'll get to when we talk about the interior.
And then how about bumpiness with suspension? Because you didn't like the RS5, it was over damped. This
is great. Like they nailed it
in
just
every
like
mode too, right?
Exactly. Like they nailed it just like they did on the Golf R. But let's get you into the driver's seat to talk about everything else.
There's a lot of weird stuff, but a lot of good stuff.
Yes.
First weird thing, when you get in the car, you put it into drive, the e-brake is still on. I like when cars turn off the e-brake when you put it into drive so that I can just let off the brake and start rolling. Instead, I have to give a little gas. So if I was like tight against the parallel parking spot, I'm gonna have to gas into a car that I'm close to or remember to pull off the e-brake.
Yep.
Launch control?
Yep.
There we go.
It's good. So 0 to 60 is about 4.5 seconds.
It would be nice if there was a mode to be like, don't hold it at 5. We're gonna connect. The roads are good.
I mean, that's probably the best way for that to get the launch. It's a computer.
I would like it if it was just right through.
Does anyone remember that from G.I. Joe? I'm a computer. Those G.I. Joe memes before memes were memes.
Yeah. Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now getting into other stuff on the interior, there is one thing that this car doesn't have. That was an old test that we used to do.
Okay.
The gas gauge test. What side is the gas tank on?
I believe it's on the right
but no,
side.
where does it show? Where does it show?
Okay, I can actually solve this problem for you.
I know the answer, but
Okay.
it doesn't show it unless you slide up to your fuel level thing.
No, there's actually another way.
Well, it doesn't show it on this screen.
Okay, so the other way is through your infotainment. If you go into settings, you go to display and brightness, and then you go to Audi virtual cockpit, you go configure, and then your fuel level on the left side, and now
Yeah, but that blocks your S dynamic.
I know.
I know that too. There's a lot of stuff you can do and a lot of stuff you can't do. But what's nice is there still is a reduced display mode, which I like to use a lot.
I actually really like that mode in this car as well, because there's just a lot of numbers displayed.
And then there is also S Performance and S Dynamic. S Dynamic is like really ugly.
I know, it's like that Batwing mode where it just looks weird.
All I want is one gauge in the middle, and they're like, you gotta buy the RS for that.
Well, that's what they did in the previous generation, and then they kind of got rid of it and gave you this S Performance, which is like the runway kind of weird thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But anyways, the gauge cluster and the infotainment, all very good. It's the regular Audi infotainment that we've had in every other Audi. Works great. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, wireless, wired. Love it.
I would call this a joy to use in comparison to the Golf R, which is basically this car.
Yeah, because we do have all our hard buttons for climate, and instead of having a volume knob and a tuning knob, we have this volume slider,
rotator,
iPad thing,
iPod,
and then left and right. But it's not bad. I'm surprisingly super okay with it. But then with your iPhone, if you plug it in and do wired CarPlay, it won't fit here with the cable plugged in.
Yeah, but we do have wireless charging, which is nice. You gotta just use the cup holders.
Yeah.
Or you get a Pro Clip. But anyways, the infotainment is great. Like you said, you can rest your finger to actually do stuff. There is some gloss black down here. And the other big issue is there's a lot of cheapness in a lot of hard plastics here, which we're not used to in Audis, but this is like their cheapest Audi, basically.
Okay, this right here, where the cup holders are, feels so GM, like this is straight out of a Cavalier or Sunfire.
Yes, or like a Grand Prix or something.
Yeah, like just like a garbage pickup truck.
Yeah, so that's probably the worst part of this whole interior, because other than that, it's so much better than Golf R. And then we do have this like dinky shifter.
Okay.
You do get used to it, but
the amount of times I've like rested my hand on nothing.
Bro, you're supposed to rest your pinky on it. That's what it's for.
Luxury. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
it works. I just don't like it.
But we do have some cool materials up on the dash right here. This is a really nice texture. It also says Quattro. And then we do have some gloss black surrounding some stuff, and then some silver trim.
Okay, with the silver trim, it connects to the door handle, which is like a weird shape, but it's nice. And then we do have ambient lighting, which we can customize. I had it all on red, and at night, it's a nice, subtle ambient lighting.
Bro, the door handle is dynamic for the gauges.
Oh, what?
Just blew my own mind.
What? Okay, how about the seats? You comfy? Because I'm comfy.
Super comfy. And I drove this for a really long time, had no issues with my back.
How about the back seats?
I got some issues with my knees and my head. So there's actually scoops for your knees, but the scoops are so narrow and it's actually a hard plastic. You're just jamming your knees into it, and your knees, well, at least mine, don't even fit into the scoops, and yours don't either. And then my head also hits the roof. And in Europe, you can get this as a hatch, which would probably solve most of those problems.
And now for some just normal driving stuff, let me put it in drive, and I'm in dynamic, and if I just floor it, it kicks in pretty quickly, and like that pumped in vibrating windshield is pretty loud.
Yeah, but now let's put you into comfort, because I actually find it to be relatively slow in comfort and drive. It's very chill. There's like turbo lag, there's shift lag, but it's comfort, so it kind of makes sense. Send it.
Waiting.
I think you're good. A little bit slower.
Yeah.
They're
all kind of slow. This was slow, TLX is slow.
Yeah.
Cars are slow to shift from comfort.
Yeah, just leave them all in dynamic for the most part. I mean, this has auto though.
Use your paddles.
Yo, let's try auto. Quick auto try. So now we're chilling. The car's like, yeah, you're chilling. Not expecting the send.
Okay, so we're auto into cliche corner because I'm going, yeah.
Okay, auto drive.
La 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 la. Is that a corner?
Oh my God, it's cliche. Okay, that was decently quick in auto.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna put you back in dynamic for this. All right. Damn, that hooked up.
I told you, I'm fast in Audis.
Yeah.
And I like how fast they can go through cliche corner.
They hook up.
But definitely no oversteer riding the line of understeer to neutral.
Exactly.
Which is fine.
Yeah, it handles really well. And what I noticed is that the steering is actually a little bit on the heavy side just for Audis. It's not heavy, but for Audis it is.
Yeah, and this is on winter tires, not performance tires.
Right. And if you like the interior ergonomics of this versus the Golf R, I would highly recommend you check out tsp.truecar.com. There's a link in the description for discounted price offers.
And before I forget, trunk room, it's just a trunk. You unlock it, it pops up just fine on its own. Pretty decent amount of space.
So I think that's pretty much it for this Audi, except, Yuri, I want you to floor it, and I want you to see if you can actually nail the shifts before the red line, like the smallest amount before red line, because it'll auto upshift before that.
Ready?
Let me know about the power and the shift speed. Go for it. Nailed it. Nailed it.
You can't prove that wasn't me. I mean, the power was very okay.
I mean, I'd say more than okay.
It
felt very
more than
torquey.
okay for very normal people. For us, it's like, you know, I could like drink a coffee easily while doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I would be satisfied with this for
a daily. Yeah,
exactly.
100%.
And it's very torquey. That's the thing that I noticed the most.
Okay, is that everything?
What about the shift speed, bruh?
No issues.
Snappy.
Didn't know. Yeah, snappy.
All right.
Let's get to the price.
So this one starts at $53,900.
Canadian.
And this one is optioned out to $62,860.
That's like 15,000 more than a Golf R.
That's a lot of money the way this thing's sitting.
But people will look at you differently if you get a Golf versus getting an Audi, even though the Golf is faster.
For sure. And I would actually recommend this one if you can afford it, just because of the interior. And that's not a thing that normally bothers me, but that's how much I hated that Golf R interior, even though it was offered in manual.
Yo, I'm gonna be honest with you, I can tolerate the bad Volkswagen interior for the manual over this.
Man, that's a tough one. I mean,
because the car was good, it had the drift mode. Like
the Golf R ripped more than this, for sure. I don't know.
I go Golf R manual over this, saving money.
I'm gonna say this.
Buy some more X-Men toys and Marvel cards.
Yeah. Let us know what you guys think. Is it Yuri or Jacob, or is it Golf R or S3?